Well, David Lowe is with the School of Law at Liverpool John Moores University in the UK. He joins us now for more on this. David, thank you very much for your time. I suppose the question on a lot of French people's lips right now is why is it that France has been targeted yet again?
When you look at France and what in more recent times, its involvement, certainly in the Middle East region, certainly against groups like Daesh, and they've been involved in the airstrikes in Syria, Iraq. They have a large Muslim population from their former colonies, predominantly quite a lot in the south of France region, from Marseille across to Nice. So there's one or two individuals there who may feel disaffected with French society and vulnerable to being drawn towards terrorist activity associated with that narrow Islamist extreme view. And also France has, in number-wise, has the highest number of citizens that's gone to the Syrian region to go and fight with Daesh in that area. And I suppose we could even go back historically, and I know it's something that some of these extreme Islamist groups always go on about, is the fall of the Ottoman Empire. France, along with the UK and the US, were largely responsible for creating the nation states we see in that region. They find that an anathema against their views.
What we're seeing, it seems, in recent months is a sort of evolution from coordinated attacks where the mastermind behind it has very much been either Daesh or formerly Al-Qaeda, to perhaps lone wolves now carrying out attacks such as this, but inspired by the ideology. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, this is something that's been encouraged certainly by Daesh since 2014, with al-Andani's message out to the wider world, and certainly for Europe, Canada, US and Australia, to carry out attacks, pick up a knife and kill someone, pick up a rock and hit them on the head. And one of the examples he gave was to get into a vehicle and drive into a crowd, and this is what we obviously witnessed last night. And this is an issue that there is of great concern right around the world, are individuals who feel disaffected or don't, there could be issues with their family, issues with their community, just what issues with the society. And they are very vulnerable to being drawn into this narrative and being influenced and indoctrinated by it, and then will feel inspired to carry out an attack. And if you've got individuals constantly bringing out by Daesh, from Daesh, saying, do something in our name, this is going to be even harder for the security service and the police to pick up.
Is it almost impossible to stop lone wolves?
Yes, it is, and it's something that even heads of security and heads of counter-terrorism unit, policing units will admit. I mean, even here in the UK, about eight months ago, Andrew Sanders, head of MI5, here said it's virtually impossible to stop every type of attack. But that said, there is a positive to this. The rate of exchange and intelligence, not just within Europe, and it's with countries around the world. I mean, I know the UK and Turkey have been working very, very closely together because of our citizens who've been travelling over then, and Turkey's had to work closely with other agencies and identify individuals and send them back to their home state. You can see the enormity of the task that the staff in these agencies are facing. But when someone is so determined, it's really as hard to prevent every attack.
What's the overwhelming intention, do you think, of attacks like this? Is it simply to kill and maim as many people as possible? Or does it run deeper? Is it to try and create divisions within society?
Yeah, I think it is deeper than that. I think there's a number of factors. One, it's groups like Daesh, Al-Qaeda, trying to show, look, the state can't keep you secure all the time, so be afraid. We can attack at any time. It gets people changing. They want people to change their habits, travelling habits and so on. And as you said, to try and create divisions, because also that one unfortunate consequence of this, and we see it in a number of states, is it fuels the far right extremists, and it fuels fire for their argument. So it does create greater divisiveness within a society. And then you have maybe communities feeling as though they're being overly under too much surveillance, and that they feel as though they're criminals, and they're being treated like criminals. And that can also then make them turn over and want to go and support groups like Daesh and Al Qaeda. So it's not a very simple issue. You can see why they do it, and because this is the potential consequences.
And just finally, David, I want to ask you about the comments we heard from our eyewitness a few moments ago, saying that there was not a great police presence. Obviously, France has just held Euro 2016. There were no successful attacks there. We don't know if any were thwarted or not. Does a physical police presence, is that likely to limit the chances of an attack like this in any way?
Well, it does help, and I'll be honest, I'd be quite surprised. You've got Bastille Day, one of the most important days in the French calendar, where the state knows most of its citizens and tourists, because don't forget Nice is a big tourist area, will be out to enjoy the fireworks and celebrations. If it is that there's a very small police presence, I'd be very surprised, but that could also explain why that lorry travelled just over 1.2 miles across that promenade to carry out that devastation.
Okay, David Lowe, thank you very much for your time.